I think calling out people in our community and holding people in our community accountable is in fact supporting our community because it's just beneficial for the women, for the Latinas, and for the men too because you unlearn that toxic behavior. Like I think that you doing all that you're doing right now is not us attacking each other. It's in fact helping each other because we're calling out bullshit. Like that's just bullshit behavior. It's insecure behavior. It's egotistical. It's selfish. And like you said, if anyone is dragging down our community, it's not you calling them out that's dragging it. It's them acting that way.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
Brandon, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
It's not Halloween when you guys are seeing this, but it's Halloween for us.
Yes, sir.
Or in the past. So.
I'm Valenzuela because the Dodgers just won the World Series. Woo! That just happened yesterday. And we called it on last week's episode, so that's how you know we can manifest the future, guys. Call your shot right now. What else is about to happen before the end of the year?
Kamala Harris president.
Okay.
First woman
Trump
president?
loses. Dude, this is gonna be so crazy because the election will be over by the time this comes out. It'll be crazy if it doesn't happen.
I really hope Kamala wins.
Yeah.
And this is more just to say that I feel like I don't know. There's a better outcome through that than the other guy. I'm not gonna name the other.
Did you see what Mark Ruffalo said?
Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk?
Yeah, the Hulk.
What
Yeah,
did
he said that he's going for Kamala, but he's not doing it in the sense of because he's a fanboy. He says that he has just a greater hope that he can most likely change Kamala's policies to be like more humanitarian when it comes to Palestine than they have any chance of changing Trump's mind if he like becomes president.
That's
what he said. Yeah,
bro.
Mark Ruffalo's cool.
That's kind of why I said, because I saw his video. I saw his video, and I was like, he has a point where it's just like I feel like that's why I feel a little optimistic of that. I know that there's been a lot of the argument that people don't want to vote for her because she's funding the genocide and all that, but I feel like in a way, there's a little more hope with her helping that out and also helping America out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Trump is creating this whole hatred stuff. Yeah. And I think it's becoming very dangerous to a lot of different groups.
Yeah.
And I think having that rhetoric is just really bad in general. Like I think it's just really dangerous. And I think he's aware, but also like a lot of other people are not aware of what they're doing and saying and representing in that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the other option is her, and I do feel like hopefully we can persuade her or like talk to her and be like, hey, like these are our things, and I hope she listens, you know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there is that side where she'll probably listen more to us than Trump will.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
It's I just think it's a weird state that for everyone listening, there's no way we can't avoid politics because the election is literally just in a few more days. So this episode is probably gonna be very politically driven. But it goes into our first topic because we obviously want to talk about the World Series. Shout out to the Dodgers. Shout out to Dodger fans. Shout out to LA Angelinos. And the way this relates is that if anybody was watching the fucking games, the common occurrence every single time they went a commercial is there was a political ad for Trump, and then there was a rebuttal ad for Kamala, then there was another political ad for Republicans, and then there was another political ad for Democrats. And it was fucking insane because some of the shit that they were saying on the Republican side, I don't even like. It seems so much like they're trying to sell you something, like as if they're trying to convince you that there's this evil like society in a way that if Kamala wins, like it basically means the end of all times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. The one with Kamala's for they, them, and Trump is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
But I don't even get that one because I was saying before the show, like, even if, like, okay, let's say Kamala Harris is for whatever they say, they, them. What's so bad with that? Like, it's just people who prefer those pronouns. Like, oh, my God, like, Kamala's for these monsters when they're not monsters.
Yeah. They're human beings.
Yeah. Like, it's just so weird because, you know what's funny? You know how Trump came out on the Joe Rogan podcast? Somebody brought up that in the past, Joe Rogan has said that he stopped feeling like he was a Republican once Republicans started to advocate for making gay marriages illegal, because he didn't understand what is the problem with gay couples. Like, they're just humans who feel as though their marriage should be validated in the state. And he's like, why would we root for someone trying to take away freedoms rather than add on freedoms?
Yeah.
And I think it relates to that, like the they them. Like, okay, like Kamala is going for people who don't seem to fit the binary system. That's cool. Or what is it? What is it about that you're so afraid of? Like, like it's, I don't get it. But then people push for like AI and like the future tech. I'm like, how can you have both of the same? Like, know that this definition of what is the average American is gonna change.
I think it's very similar to a lot of the stuff in the past, where it's like a certain marginalized group gets demonized and misrepresented and scapegoated for things they have nothing to do with. You know, like what do Republicans say? I guess it's hard for us to imagine because it's so ridiculous. You know, we're so far removed from that. But what do they say? They're always talking about how like drag races are. What do you call it?
Satanic rituals or something.
And what do you call it? Grooming kids, or stuff like that. You know, ridiculous things. That's why I think when you talk about the ads, they're very like fear mongery. You know, I mean, a lot of politics is fear mongering, but that was an entirely different level. There's one where they have a very like offensive like portrayal of a trans person. Or am I tripping? Do you remember that one?
I think so, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, but I remember I was here when we saw it.
Yeah, because you pointed it out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just insane.
I also think the one that was super trippy is the did you see the ad where they say that Kamala is for prison inmates to get transgender surgeries? Did you see that one? No, it's like, it's so fake. Like, you could tell they just clipped different audios together. Yeah. Like it literally, the political ad. Did you see it?
I haven't seen any of them, honestly.
What? Yeah. You weren't watching the World Series like that?
She was at the World.
I was at the World.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll get into that too. Oh yeah, my bad. She literally wasn't watching it on TV. Yeah. My bad. But yeah, there was one commercial where it says that Kamala is for giving prison inmates surgeries for transgender. What is it called? Transgender. There's like an official name, right? Transgender surgeries, but like there's an official name, no?
Gender reassignment.
Yeah. Like it's for, and then they show a clip of Kamala Harris being like, every inmate will have access to these facilities, and I guess it's supposed to like scare Americans because it's like, why are they gonna do that? Like, what's the point of that? Like, it's so ridiculous. Yeah. But I'm also like, they didn't show a video of her saying that. It's all audio, and it's so cut up. Like, as an editor myself, I know that those two were not said in the exact same sentence. And so I'm like, how can anybody not see through this? But I guess it's because people who watch TV are older and they're more easily fooled and they're more easily uneducated.
But you have to remember, the people who they're running ads for are not the people that, you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's older people, uneducated, and highly religious.
I honestly think, dude, it's up in the air. I have no idea who's going to win. I hope Trump doesn't win, but fuck, man. I have no idea. I think a lot of people are silent, like, and I mean on both sides. Yeah. Because I think have you seen that ad that's these Republican guys go into a voting booth and then they vote for Trump and then their wives go up and the wives look at each other from across the room and then they like nod and then they vote for Kamala Harris and then the ad says like, when you vote, the only person who should know is like you and the paper, I guess. You haven't seen that? And then that one's interesting. A good ad, though. Yeah, it is because I think it's true. I honestly think that both sides, there's probably a lot of people who are probably voting for Trump, and there's probably a lot of people who are voting for Kamala that have not said anything or will not even reveal it until they get into that booth.
100%. The atmosphere is pretty hostile right now.
Yeah, even us saying this.
I feel like I used to remember that you generally didn't know what anybody's political party was for a good while, or like there was this thing of like you shouldn't really like ask people. I saw this video recently where there was this guy who said that he grew up Republican and he used to be very Republican, and his mom is still Republican, but I think he's now like liberal or whatever. And he said, he's like, I remember like we used to be able to just like, you know, like my friend would be Republican and I'd be fine with it. Like we wouldn't like have like this arguing match or whatever, or like I wouldn't cut them off or like block them. But now because Trump is in like presidency and like he's the representation of that side, now it's just like in big uproar. So he's like, there's been such a big change on like, you know, political parties and kind of representing like your political parties a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy to like think about because
Yeah.
it has been like, it's very divided, you know, like
Yeah.
it's very much like you're like, especially like if you're not for the Republican Party or like, you know, for Trump or whatever, it's very much that like you get attacked a lot for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I and the other side too of like being, you know, liberal or a democratic, like you're also very much like people insult you for that, for being like you're wrong in what you believe.
Yeah, 100%.
Like and it's just crazy seeing that. And I don't know if it's always been like that. Now that we're older, we're seeing it a lot more. But it does seem very much like you're very much attacked for who
it's
you
hostile.
stand for.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Yesterday, so for those of you listening who don't know, my dad owns like a mechanic and technician shop, and he went on vacation, and so I've been running it while he's gone because I'm a licensed blue collar guy. And yesterday, a guy showed up in a Trump hat. He had it said "Truckers for Trump." It was like this. He looked like a Trumper, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I could be mean, but I'm telling you, he looked like he fit all the status: blonde hair, blue eyed, older, mid age, like overweight. He fit all the standards. And he was there and he was waiting because one car had literally right at the same time. One car came first, and then just less than a minute later, he came, the Trump supporter. And well, just like by, I don't know, the universe or God or whatever, the car that came in first was this car full of Hondurans. Like obviously straight from, they had their car, it said Honduras, like it was all decked out, it says Honduras. They didn't speak English, not a lick of it. They only spoke Spanish. And I was talking to them, and he came and he's like, "Hey, are you guys a STAR certified station?" And I was like, "Yeah, we are." And then he interrupted my convo that I was having with these Honduran guys. I was just helping them out, and then I was talking to them in Spanish, and then I guess like that triggered him, or like he didn't expect to see like the enemy, like not me, even though I obviously look visually like a Latino. I think he didn't expect to see these straight from like barely made it here to the United States Hondurans, and he's like, "Wow, you guys are STAR certified," and he got in his car and he left. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't give a fuck. Wow. I literally don't give a fuck. But yeah, like I guess he saw that we were speaking Spanish and he got offended, and so he got in his car and he left.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
just straight up just left.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, well,
I
better for me, I guess.
I think you're right. Yeah, like I guess going off your points, I think Julie's right. I think it is. Well, obviously, it's clear to see that things have changed, but I think the candidates have changed. You know, like I think we're in a very extreme point in history. You know, I feel like, I mean, like you said, maybe when I was younger, I didn't understand or hear these certain like topics come up, but right now, you know, it's very difficult because, I guess I don't know. I guess before I assumed there was a lot of nuances when it came to like politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you disagreed about like taxes or how to do certain things, I can see in that area maybe being like, oh, well, we politely disagree, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess because things have changed and it's more about like human rights now, that's where I think my personal contention comes up, you know? And I think a lot of people who say like, oh, well, you know, I'm not for how they're like against, you know, the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. I'm just about like taxes or business or whatever. I don't know how you can really say that. And the reason I say that is we just talked about the political ads. That's the forefront of their campaign. It's not like it's this small little thing. Yeah. That's like the selling point of their campaign is we are anti-LGBTQ, you know? Yeah. That's not like they literally said Kamala's for they, them, like implying that community is to be demonized or to be, avoided.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many things like that where I'm like, you can't get around it. So when people come out and they say like, oh, I'm a so-and-so supporter. Yeah. It's hard for me to not just completely see them as that because that's what they are, you know? Yeah. Like you're proudly wearing that as like, yeah, that's my beliefs. Yeah. Like I don't really want to be around those people. I don't want those people to have rights, you know? Yeah. Or like the abortion thing. Those are big political campaigns. Like I think again, I'm speaking on like assumption. I feel like I remember it in the past being there, but not the forefront of that campaign.
Yeah.
Or now it's the forefront of the campaign where people are like, well, Kamala wants abortions like up to fucking like 9 months. I mean, they brought it up in the debates, you know, that's how you know it's at the forefront of what they're running for. And I think that's why it's so hostile. And I think rightfully so. Like that's wrong, you know, like I think that's really wrong. That they're doing that kind of thing.
Before I would have for sure disagreed. Well, because just growing up, I think our school did a good job of saying like both sides, you know, you got to hear them out. But because it was a different political climate, like you said, it didn't feel like it was about human rights. Before it felt like it was about policies, you know, economics, you know, the things that should matter when you do a political campaign. But in recent years, it feels like it's become more of a humanitarian issue. And that's what's so sad too, because like me on a personal level, like I don't want to demonize or alienate anybody, but it's become a morality battle between who you pick. Like it's not even about policies anymore. At the forefront, it's about morals. And like that's what's so saddening is that it should be about policies. Like that's what it should be about. You shouldn't have to pick the someone based off like, oh, you know, this guy's gonna fucking alienate and demonize a whole group of people, and then this person just has good policies. You know.
And I think it's. I mean, like it's scary, you know. Like, and I think that as Latinos in this room, right? I think before, right, it was never. Maybe this was the intention the whole time. Like maybe, like I mean, I'm sure it was, right. It was never presented this way where it's like the issue is Latinos. They would always just talk about immigration and the policies of immigration. And, you know, I feel strongly about that already, you know, and at the time I think I like to believe that I would feel the same way, right? If I was this age then. But I think the difference is too, is they're not at this point, they're not even bringing up the policy of immigration. They literally on the stage of the presidential debate, Trump said they're eating the dogs. They're coming in and they're eating dogs. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm even shocked that I have to explain the difference for some people as to why people feel so strongly about that. And I don't think, I guess maybe it's just because we're a part of that community, you know? Like,
we saw it first.
Yeah, you know, but maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just one of those things where it's like, if you're not a part of the community, you don't understand. And I don't mean the Latino community. I just mean a marginalized community that's attacked. So I assume maybe just white people are like, what? Like, who cares? You know, because they've never been on the receiving end of that, you know?
Yeah, that's what I've come to the realization with lately. I think that, like, this isn't an attack on white people, but I guess it's just a cultural, like, blind side of them is because they're not so directly being insulted. They don't understand how crazy it is that him and his campaign is saying all this shit about Latinos. Like, because I think if you're a Latino, you're like, how the fuck? I mean, we talked about it last week, but how the fuck am I ever going to support this guy? This guy clearly doesn't like me and my people. But if you're white, you're like, I mean, I like his policies. He didn't say that shit about me. He didn't say that shit about my people. So I think it's easier for them to just look past it. We need to go back to have you ever seen that when John McCain defends Obama? Yeah. He's like, no, he's a
good man.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Disagree on certain policies.
Yeah, like, so that makes me think that this is definitely a recent thing. And it's so sad because I think it's so clear that Trump probably doesn't even believe a lot of the things that super conservative Republicans believe. He's just saying that he does so he can get their vote and get into power.
Yeah, I don't think
even Kamala, honestly.
I personally don't think any of the extreme politicians believe their extreme viewpoints. I think they're what is it, constituents or their voters? I think they believe that. But I think you're really in denial if you actually believe these politicians believe what they're telling you. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's like that joke, right? Oh, sorry, you're gonna say
but it's okay. I think it's still problematic. I feel like it's even worse that they're saying it. Like, I don't think just because they don't believe it, that means it's okay. But they don't believe it. Like Trump being this fucking, oh, Jesus is king type shit. And any of these fucking politicians being like, oh, Jesus, I'm such a Christian. That's not true. Like, look at their behavior. Look at how they act. Look at how they conduct themselves. You know, you can clearly see that that's not what they believe. But they know that their voters believe that, so they'll say whatever to get into office, you know?
Yeah, 100%. But in brighter news, Dodgers won World Series, and bringing it back to the topic at hand, it was crazy because while me and Brandon were watching at home, Julie was actually there in person. Julie, how was your experience at the World Series?
It was pretty crazy. I mean, watching the games there was pretty wild. It was pretty packed. Fans were really crazy, honestly. But since I mostly work on like, you know, the organization side and stuff, I did experience some things with some groups which were very, very uncomfortable. A lot of them, but there was one specific group. I guess I won't give them their full name, but if you want to translate it, it's mostly they're like the spoiled brats. That's basically their name.
Oh, really? Wait,
their name is spoiled, basically. But I call them the spoiled brats. But you can you can translate it into Spanish if you would like, and you can probably figure out who I'm talking about. So it's like this whole group. They're like a banda group, and it's a group of maybe like 20 something men. And essentially what happened is that it started off bad. I wasn't there for that situation. Whatever the situation was, they were doing something that I think they weren't supposed to, and one of my coworkers probably told them something, and then they got offended by whatever happened.
Are you choosing to like not say what happened? Was it?
Well, I don't exactly
you just don't know.
I don't exactly know specifically, but from the little pieces that I've gathered, because after that, it was the one thing that kind of kept getting talked about.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there. Like I wasn't there yet. But something happened, and from what I could hear is that they felt that they were being disrespected. And that's understandable. Like their feelings are valid if they felt like that's how it was. But then when I got there, they were being very like very rude towards me, like very like I would say thank you, and then they would just ignore me. And like I would just talk to them. They were breaking a lot of rules, basically. And I'm there to make sure that they follow the rules, basically, and to make sure that they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. And just a lot of situations were happening where a lot of them weren't listening to me. And then that's when I kind of started feeling very like, is it because like I'm a woman? Like you guys are being very like weird with me. I get it that there was something that happened before that, but like now I'm here to actually help you guys, and I feel like you guys aren't really like participating with me. And so I just started feeling very like uncomfortable with it. And then they were just very like what's the word? Like they were just very like what's the word? Like like just serious with everything.
They gave you attitude?
Like, yeah, it was kind of like that. Like they were it was like somewhat like attitude towards me. And I was like, okay, like I know that there was a whole situation, whatever, but like I don't think you guys should be like taking it on me when I wasn't even there. Yeah. But that's just like my own personal opinion, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was just like that, and it was just very uncomfortable. They were being just really weird with me, and I feel like they were super unprofessional. So what ended up happening, and this is the part where I will talk about. So essentially when you go there, you're basically working for the Dodgers, right? Like they hired you to specifically perform for them, right? And so we have this rule that once you're there and you're working, you're not supposed to drink alcohol. Because, you know, it's like you're working, because, you know, in any place, right? When you work, you can't drink, right? And so, you know, these guys, they're, I think they were all from like Mexico, or like they're Mexicans. And as soon as they got there, essentially, I think that what the fight earlier was is that they were trying to purchase alcohol. And somebody told them that they can't do it. And their excuse was like, well, you guys aren't giving us anything, so we're going to go buy something because we're all thirsty. And in my head, I was like, okay, if you guys are thirsty, buy water. Why would you buy beer? But whatever. And so then after they do the performance, right, it gets cut because, like, you know, there's multiple things going on with MLB and, like, Fox. And so then we have to, like, cut their performance, whatever. But they got to be featured, like, on TV, which I was like, there's an up, right, to everything. And then they're at the World Series, right? And so then all this is happening. And then after that, they all start buying alcohol. They all start drinking in the area where they are. And I told them, I was like, you guys can drink, like that's okay, but you guys still have like this wristband, right? That we like give them to kind of just show that they're the performers. I was like, you guys just need to hide that or pretend that you guys are not performing. Like you guys are able to do it, but it's just like, don't like make it obvious that you work here. But none of them listened. None of them cared. They were all just drinking. And essentially they all said that because they felt disrespected earlier, they weren't going to basically follow the rules anymore.
That's stupid.
And so then I was just there being like, okay, well, if they don't want, I already wanted them to get kicked out. I was like, I do not want them here. Like they're being unprofessional. They're already like giving me attitude. Like they were being mean and all these things. And I was just like, I don't want them here. But that wasn't my call. Like, again, like I'm just there to make sure that they follow everything. And then it's up to like my supervisors to kind of say. They did end up getting kicked out. Well, some of them, because some of them basically like snuck in there and we couldn't find them anymore. But essentially the whole time I was just like
damn, they some of them just fucking snuck into the crowd.
Yeah, basically. And I did find one, but then he like disappeared after that. And he was the one who was like the rudest. He supposedly was like their promoter. He wasn't even part of the band. Like he wasn't a musician, but he was a promoter. And he was very much like, I already didn't like him from like the beginning. And then same thing, like they were all, there was at least maybe one out of like the 20 of them or 25 of them. I don't know how many they were, but it was a big group. 'Cause it was like the musicians plus their posse. And all of them were just like really weird from the get-go. And then it was just like just chaotic the whole time. It was just me myself dealing with all of them. I still had somebody else there and their manager, but they were all just very like it was just, they were all men. Like I was just it basically just felt like I was in a room full of just men that were being very toxic towards me. And I was like, okay, like whatever. And so then the whole time I was just like, I don't feel comfortable being here. And then only one of them started flirting with me, which I thought was really weird. Because I was like, how is it that you're being mean to me? And then all of a sudden you want to be like nice to me. And like, you're weird for like the way that you're trying to get at me. Because he was also way older than like me. And so then.
How much older? Do you know?
I don't know. Maybe like in his 40s, 50s, maybe. But he looked way older. And I just thought it was crazy because like I heard one of the arguments because they were arguing in Spanish. And one of the managers was arguing with one of the other like band managers and was like, you guys knew that this was the World Series and there was a contract that you guys signed or like essentially signed up for, right? And so basically they had to stay and work like if the Dodgers win, they perform like a post party basically. But after their pregame performance, they started packing up. They were like, we're leaving kind of thing. Or they essentially all packed up, but they all went to go get drinks and they went to go watch the game. And so in my head, I was like, I think they generally just wanted to come to watch the game. I don't think they really cared about their performance. That's just the vibe I got. Damn. And so then that's why I was like, you guys need to get them out of here because then they're all going to just run and like find somewhere and hide, which some of them did. Some of them you could tell who they were because they were wearing their like suits. But I was just like, I don't know. I just got the vibe that they generally didn't care like about their performance. They mostly cared to just be there for the game.
Yeah, get that free ticket.
And I think well, because they essentially didn't have tickets, so I'm assuming that they paid them. And I think they just wanted the money and to get to watch the game, which they would. Like if they were fine, they were still going to watch the game for free because essentially they still have to stay until the end of the game. And like that didn't end up happening. And so then it was just very much like they were arguing and all these things. And then they were like, this is the World Series. Like the Dodgers, specifically the Dodgers are asking you for a favor of like performing for them at the World Series. And you guys are acting like this. Like, how is that? The guy was like, if you guys didn't want to do it, you guys could have just said no. But yet now you're here. Now they have you here. But now all of you guys are not even following anything they're asking you to do. And I just thought it was crazy because they also did an interview on the news before they came to the World Series. And they were like, oh, like it's crazy. Like nobody ever gets this type of opportunity.
Oh, like it's
to
an honor?
perform. Yeah, it's an honor that they asked us to work the World Series. But then when they actually got there, they didn't really care. Like, they generally didn't like take that opportunity to actually like perform for the audience. It was more just about other stuff of like getting drunk and like going to the game. And I get it. Like,
Is that like their like I guess like their, I don't know how to say it, their vibe or their aesthetic? Because it reminds me of when there's like rock and roll bands, and you know how they trash like the hotel rooms, and they're like super, or like Nirvana famously, like they got no, not Nirvana, Sublime famously got invited by MTV to perform at a festival, and they all got blackout drunk, and they basically had their performance canceled. So I'm like, is that supposed to be their vibe, or are they just unprofessional?
I mean, maybe, because I mean, it's banda, right? Where it's like everybody takes shots, gets drunk, and like they perform, right?
Makes sense.
And I understand that, but I'm just like, there's also a way to also be professional about it. And I feel like they just weren't at all. Like, at all.
Yeah, because the blame doesn't even go on them, right? It goes on you and your coworkers.
As in what?
Like, if they were all being rambunctious and being, like, annoying and breaking the rules, it goes on you guys. Like you said, you're the one who's in charge of that, right?
And it also just doesn't look good, because it's like, we hired them, but now they're over here, like, drinking, right? Like, they're working, and that doesn't look good in, like, that they're working and then they're drinking at the same time. And, like, I mean, I didn't really get in trouble for the chaos that they created, because, like, they saw that they were the ones to kind of blame for all the chaos. And so it was just like that. Honestly, like, working the World Series, a lot of it was just seeing how people really try to take advantage of it. And, like, because a lot of them were generally just trying to go there so that they can watch the game for free. And I feel like that's just very crazy to you know, take advantage in that way of like, oh, like, we're gonna abuse this opportunity because like we need to like sneak in people. And I think that's really crazy and like very insulting to like some of us, and especially to me, because I'm like, I'm all for like uplifting the community and like having them here, because then it shows a lot about us. But I'm like, the way that they act sometimes is just very like horrible. Because to me, I was like, I felt very uncomfortable. I felt very unsafe like around them, because I generally was just like, they don't give me the vibe that like I should be, you know, talking to them or like approach them, because then they're gonna lash out on me.
They're being disrespectful and hostile.
Yeah.
Kinda. What inning did they get kicked out?
As soon as the game started.
Oh really?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
As soon as the game started, I didn't even get to watch Ice Cube because of them.
This is game
damn.
2. This is game 2. Yeah.
I didn't get to watch it because as soon as like, so essentially the way it would have worked for me, and like, I mean, at this point I don't really like care that much about the performance.
Yeah.
But it was just more of like, this is also my time to enjoy, and I get that like, you know, shit happens, events happen, it's chaotic, which I also am like, to them, they should also understand that, you know, plans can also change and timelines can also change, because it's a lot of live production, and a lot of it we don't have a control of, because it's also like, it's one side that we work, but then it's another of like working with MLB and Fox, like they're a whole other separate thing that we have no control of.
Well, yeah.
So
they're performers. You would think that they would be understanding about how complicated production can be, right? But they weren't at all.
But they weren't.
They're just acting entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very entitled, and according to their name, they were very spoiled. So like they were acting like it.
Yeah.
And so so essentially the way it happens is that they perform, you know, before the game starts. So they did their performance, and you know, everybody loves them, because like, you know, the fans are a lot of Latinos, and like especially Mexicans, and banda music is like the huge thing that gets everybody going. And so then there was a good audience there for them, because as soon as, I mean, they're loud as fuck, so like you can hear them, and they perform. It got kind of cut because there was other things that were going on, so it had to be like cut. And then after that, they started packing up. And when I noticed that they started packing up and that they started drinking, that's when I alerted one of like their managers, and I was like, hey, like, they're not allowed to drink. And then when I started seeing them pack, I was like, okay, are they leaving? Like, do they think that they're done? Like, I need you guys to know that they're still staying until after the game. And so then that's when like everything just started happening. Yeah. Where like some of them were already like at the bar, like purchasing alcohol and like micheladas and all these things. And then And then while over here, like the managers are like arguing and all these things. And I'm over here trying to like message everybody, but like my supervisors are taking care of like other stuff that's going on the field. And then that's when like, and as soon as you hear Ice Cube, they all run. They all like ran to like the seats. Like they all just ran. And I was keeping my eye on them because I was like, I think we're going to kick them out. Like, I don't think they're going to stay. So I kept my eye on them just to see where they would go. And then I told them, and then they called security. They were like, okay, we need these guys out. They need to get out. We're giving them 10 minutes. And we called security and we were like, they need to get out.
That's what they get, bro.
Yeah.
But
some of them did like end up saying, which we were like mad about because those were the ones who were like the most insulting.
Damn.
But they ended up saying or whatever. And yeah, the whole time I was just like, I don't know. There was such a bad vibe with it because I felt like I was getting a lot of like the mean side of it. But then to see them kind of want to cater to women was also really weird. Because you know how they, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen when bandas are like, oh, arriba las mujeres and all these things. Mm-hmm. But I felt like they also seemed like the type to not respect women.
Like machistas?
Yeah, like very machista. And I don't know. I mean, that's just my own personal thing, like, of like the vibe that I was getting. And I don't know if it's because I was already feeling like insulted that I also think this way, but I just felt like something very like, what's the word? Like, it was just very like sour. Like, it was just very much like, how is it that you guys act this way towards me? But then you guys, when it comes to like other things, like very machista and all these things, but you guys act or put this persona that y'all are for like women and like helping them and all these things and, you know, like making them happy and all these things. So I don't know. Again, that's just like my own personal thing. But it was just very insulting.
But I think that's valid because, I mean, it's like you said, did they only take up this job to take advantage of the Dodgers? Yeah. So are they only doing the banda and like being performative when it comes to women's right to take advantage of women who think like, oh, these guys are on my side?
Yeah.
Like,
by the way they're acting, it sounds like
it's like a predator. Yeah. Like you said, especially because he hit on you and he's like an older guy, gives like predator behavior. Like these fools are weird.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're saying it because that must be shocking if anybody listening then goes to Dodger Stadium and sees these guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not coming back. We're not hiring them at all because we had a similar experience with a band last year. It wasn't to this extreme.
What a bunch of fumblers,
but
bro.
It was the same like banda, like same genre.
Yeah.
And it was the same like group of men. And it was just more very like entitled. Yeah. It was just a lot more of like entitlement.
You see, I'd be like, pissed if I was part of the group because I'm like, we got invited to the World Series and the possibility of maybe getting invited to more. And you motherfuckers fumbled this for us?
Yeah. Well, I don't think, I mean, right now, like, it seems like they won because they got away with it and got to stay. But I don't think that type of behavior is sustainable.
Yeah.
I think eventually, and I'm not even talking in like some universal karma shit. I just don't think that type of behavior is sustainable. I don't think
like in a business sense.
Right? Yeah. I don't think you can be that way in the world and like come out on top, so to speak. I think entitlement and acting like a jerk eventually it will become your downfall. Like Steve was saying, they who knows, they could have, because to me, I'm like, it sounds so simple. Like, all you had to do was perform. You got to watch the game for free, enjoy yourself with your friends, and then you perform after like a good game because the Dodgers won. You know, I mean, imagine if you tore the house down after a fresh game, and then everybody at that stadium was like, "Yo, like, who's that band? Like, let's see them again." Or like the Dodgers, like, "Yo, you killed it. Like, keep coming back. We want you guys as regulars." You know, they fucked up. I'm telling you, they fucked up. Like,
what the fuck? Because I'm thinking about it. Like, I guess if the three of us were performers, and we were like, oh shit, like we got invited to perform at the Dodgers Stadium, and then we got kicked out before the game even started. I'd be pissed, bro. I'd be like, what the fuck? You know how many opportunities we missed? Because you know how many the seat a one seat to go in Dodger Stadium was about $1,000.
Yeah.
So there's rich people there who, if they see you and they fuck with you, they're gonna hire you and your band to come perform for them. Yeah. Like, think about just like I wonder how dumb they had to be to really fumble that. Like,
well, I mean, you even saw all the celebrities that were there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they would have seen you. And, I mean, they only did the pregame, which essentially, like, I don't think the famous people were there yet. But
But
I'm
they
just
had
like,
a performance
but they had a performance after, or like, you know, maybe they were. I don't know. Maybe maybe the famous people were there and they were like listening. But I don't know. I just felt like I strongly was like, I am like, I hope that word gets around of y'all's behavior and that y'all don't get hired anywhere else. And
you're preying on their
like,
downfall.
well, yeah, because I just felt very disrespected. I was just like,
that's valid.
I feel like, I mean, I have my own issues with the organization, but I'm like, they were also just disrespecting the whole organization and the Dodgers.
Like we were supposed to having a good time here.
Yeah, like they, I feel like I get, you know, when you're somewhere and you want to take advantage of being there, you know, like you talk to people, like you network for your group, your band, you do all these things, right? So you can go somewhere bigger, you know, or like get somewhere better. But I think the way that they were doing it was super unprofessional and disrespectful. Yeah,
it's like they weren't taking advantage; they were making a disadvantage. Because, like you said, an advantage is like you network, you come up to people. Like even the few influencer events we've been invited to. Do you remember that one time where they were like, "Oh, you get as much food as you want," and I took shit home? That's like taking an advantage. Like I'm not disturbing anybody. They said I can take as much as I want, but it'd be different if I was like, "Hey, worker, fuck you. Come, bring me some fucking food right now."
And also hiding to watch the game is so lame. Like I don't even mean like that's like a dick move. I just mean like there's no way he enjoyed himself. I feel like he's coping if he's like, oh, yeah, I had a great time. Like I hit like, yeah, sure, buddy. You didn't enjoy yourself.
One of the guys that was very disrespectful, he also owns a restaurant or like restaurants.
Yeah.
Really?
And he was like promoting them or whatever. And
what a great business guy.
Somebody was like, it's probably not shit, but I mean they have like big following or whatever. I saw him. It was funny. I saw him, and then as soon as I saw him, I texted my supervisor, and I was like, "Hey, like he's here. Like if you want to get him kicked out or whatever." But by the time my supervisor got there, he wasn't there anymore. And I was like, "That fool probably hid. Like he saw me and saw that I was on my phone, and probably just like went somewhere else."
That's embarrassing for them. That's embarrassing for him.
Yeah.
Like apparently you own all this business and shit, and you're acting like a little kid.
He's also trying to be a vlogger, which is crazy. And I'm just like, I looked into them because I was like, I want to know what they've been at, how many followers they have.
Yeah, to have an ego like that.
And I mean, the restaurants itself, they're pretty, I guess, kind of big. The band itself is sort of big. And again, like I looked at their followers, like the people that they follow are very much like, I don't mean to insult like who they follow, but they're very much like these like, I don't know, like Insta like models kind of looking, like very like babes kind of looking, all that like they kind of follow, which even more was feeding into my like they don't really like respect women.
They just try to be for women, but they don't respect women.
They just see them as like objects or like
to obtain,
like to kind of obtain kind of thing,
like or money, like, right?
Yeah, and
well, it's
so then that's why,
them.
And that's why it fed more into my like they don't respect women, like and they're trying to take advantage of that because, you know, it's PR, it's good publicity to, you know, advocate for them because they know who their audience is, right? So, and that's why I'm like, I don't think they're deserving of that.
And
I don't
creeps, bro.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't think people should support them.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to happen. Like I was saying, I don't think that behavior is sustainable, especially in today's world. I know we talk a lot of shit, like, there's so many problems in the world, but the trajectory of, like, society or the way people, the way people act, everybody loves holding celebrities accountable. Like, I've never seen this amount of people get held accountable, get shit on, be fucking hated. And I'm telling you, like, I know a lot of celebrities try to be like, no, the hate doesn't bother me. Like, yeah, it fucking does. Yeah, it does. I promise you it does. Yeah. Like, I just don't think people who act like that, like, are happy or like I bet you they're miserable and whatever.
We're canceling someone right now live on the show, guys. Cancel them. Cancel them.
The spoiled brats. Y'all can probably figure out who they are. But that was hilarious because when I figured out when I started telling everybody, I was like, bro, their names is legit spoiled. Like that's what it means.
That's why I'm like, I guess it's maybe their aesthetic. They're supposed to be fucking assholes because that'll get customers back.
But I'm just like, you guys aren't huge enough to act that way. And even if you were, why would you act that way? Like that's just like, I was like, okay, like I've worked in if you guys follow me, you guys have seen that I worked with Grupo Firme. And Grupo Firme, we had like a small issue trying to get them in, but they weren't as like horrible or like mean. Nice like they were nice. And I don't know if that had to do with like their PR person was a woman, that they work with a woman, but with like this other group, it was all strictly men, right? And I think they're all very hot-headed and like just like the way that they are. But she always, for a group of women, she was more for like us and like speaking to us properly and being professional. And I'm like, they're the hugest like group ever, and like they don't even act like that. Like, how is it that you guys who are not even at the level, like Grupo Firme is probably like 30 times or 50 times bigger than that, and you guys are acting this way? Yeah. Like, I just think that's crazy. It's for insecurity, you guys, bro. For you guys to be acting in that way.
Yeah. They were probably just always like that. Like, you know, I think when you become famous and rich, the stuff that you always were like just gets amplified by 1,000. Yeah. So,
but I think that's the thing that like I guess makes me mad. It's that there's these types of men, and specifically Latino men, that act this way. Where I was always grown to believe that men should make me feel comfortable and protected. But when I was around them, I never feel that way. And I just think that's horrible to say, because I'm like, I want to be for my people. I don't want to like, you know, say that they should be canceled and all these things. But to know that they're doing these horrible things to people and like being very unprofessional in these settings, I don't think they're deserving to be where they are. And I don't know. I just feel like people like that just don't deserve it, because then that just gives us a bad rap, you know?
Well, I still think that that's a supportive thing. I think calling out people in our community and holding people in our community accountable is, in fact, supporting our community, because it's just beneficial for the women, for the Latinas, and for the men, too, because you unlearn that toxic behavior. Like, I think that you doing all that you're doing right now is not us attacking each other. It's in fact helping each other, because we're calling out bullshit. Like, that's just bullshit behavior. It's insecure behavior. It's egotistical. It's selfish. And like you said, if anyone is dragging down our community, it's not you calling them out that's dragging it. It's them acting that way. You know, because people bring it up all the time. That people in Dodger Stadium like or give Angelinos and Latinos in LA a bad rap, because like people fight all the time. Those videos go viral on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and everybody in the rest of the country thinks like, wow, look at these hostile, dangerous, uneducated, completely dangerous fans. And it's like, you don't want that to be the public image, you know. And it's not even about like, oh, like it's because I think that Latinos are by nature problematic, and that's not true. And the fact that it's not true is why you even more need to call it out, because this isn't normal. It's not normal to be a fucking misogynistic asshole to the woman who's just trying to do her job. That's not a normal behavior. That's not like, oh, like we're just defending our masculine energy. Like, it makes no fucking sense. No, you're not. You're defending this stupid behavior. Yeah. So I think it's good that you're calling it out. Don't feel weird about calling out people in our community, because if we don't call it out, you're doing more disservice than when you're staying silent.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt very strongly about it, because I was like, I get it. You know, it's the World Series, you know. But I'm like, I don't know. I mean, besides that, everything else was fun. Like, everything else that we were doing and working it was pretty fun. But I think dealing with that whole side of it was just a lot, because it generally was just like, not only am I going within like just the industries of like working in sports and doing all those things, but also working with, you know, other professional, like, you know, musicians and like just in everything. And just like having to deal with that is another layer that has to be like added on like me having to deal with like an industry that's predominantly still taken over by men. Mm-hmm. And like the more I was there, the more I was like, man, I wish there was a woman group that we could find, that I feel like it would be a lot better to just like deal with them than with like these guys. And it just kept making me think more of why I more advocate for like women being in these sports, these like settings, because it helps a lot to have just the diversity within that. And so then that's all I kept thinking about, where I was just like, I think it's good for both ends. Like, it's good for all of us to just have that. Because it's also just a lot of just representation, you know. And I think, I don't know, I kept just thinking about it. I'm like, I feel like they're giving such a bad name to it, because even now, like, that's the second group. Like, that's the second group that we have to deal with that has been giving us issues. And it's just like, are we ever going to have them back? Well, not that specific group, but have that specific genre back. Because it's like, it's giving just a bad rap and like...
I get you. It's taking opportunities away from our community too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Dodgers organization isn't like a Latino brand. So, like, for all they know, they're like, I guess, like, if this is already the second, third incident, like, might as well not give them the opportunity. And that's sad, bro, because, like, it really is the representation that we don't want.
I wish brands would call out other brands. Like, I wish the Dodgers would put them on blast. Like, I think it's lame that... I think you're doing really well. I think that's how people get to that point, like, entitled people, is because nobody checks them. And I think you're doing a good job in checking them and, like, speaking up.
Yeah.
But I wish the Dodgers or, like, a big organization would be like, nah, they were pretty unprofessional, guys. Like this, and that.
Cancel them.
Well, because a lot of us, and I'm sure that they weren't aware of this, a lot of us work in different industries and different teams. Like, I already heard one of my supervisors be like, they work with another specific, like, production. Yeah. And they're like, if they're ever in them, I'm going to tell them that they're not professional and that they shouldn't be hired. And I'm like, so they're already, like, setting their own reputation. And the fact, and I think it's even crazier because it was the World Series, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, people see what's going on. You know, people probably saw y'all getting escorted by security and was like, what happened? And they could probably twist their story the way it was, but I was there and I was the person who was at the front of all of this happening, of them being a professional and not following the rules and saying that their only reason that they're doing is that because they're rebelling because they felt disrespected, which understandable if they felt disrespected, but the answer isn't to disrespect back and like start being, you know, like hostile and all these things.
Yeah.
And
that makes no sense.
It just, to me, it just didn't make sense. Like after that,
well, I mean, to me, it's just like even if they don't agree with how the Dodgers or like the big production was handling them, like they didn't like the rules. Yes, let me take it out on the little guy, like the small worker,
the minimum wage worker,
who's there to just help. Like that is clearly her fault. Clearly, Julie runs the Dodgers and makes all of their rules. Yes.
Yeah, it's like when it happens to big companies, like, and they're like, oh man, this big company CEO did this horrendous shit. Let me take it out on the minimum wage janitor.
Yeah, you know, it's dumb. But like you're saying, I'm telling you, it's not sustainable. Like
he's right.
Acting like that, like it's not sustainable, especially in today's
You just
world.
said it, I know.
You know, like
it's
how
the news is spreading.
It's
already.
spreading, and then who knows? Maybe somebody watches this, works for like I don't know, the Lakers or something. Is gonna be like, wow, unbelievable. I was about to hit them up. Like I was literally. About
it happens too. You know? We've seen it firsthand behind the scenes.
You never know who's watching. So
you never know who's watching.
Because it was that they had performed for us for Mexican Heritage.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is that my coworker saw that I was working with them for the World Series, and she even told me like, "Good luck," because that group was horrible at Mexican Heritage Night.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that wasn't her exact words, but she did tell me like, "Good luck," because that group was a lot. And so then I didn't know what she meant by that when she first said that to me. And already when she said that to me, my boss was already telling me about like the whole situation that had happened with them and that they had already started on a bad like leg or whatever. And so I was already like me thinking like, oh, like, you know, we're homies, like they're my people, like we'll be fine, like everything's gonna chill out. And then after that, nothing chilled out.
Like,
I think all of that is just embarrassing. Like I feel like
it is embarrassing.
Like as a grown adult, you need people to like watch you, like you're a toddler. Like I know that the connotation that a lot of people or like a lot of toxic men try to have is like, nah, like I do what I want. It's like, bro, you're acting like a toddler. That's how a toddler thinks, bro.
Yeah.
Like a toddler has to be watched. A toddler has to be handled and taken care of.
Well, because even like when they were like, oh, like they're not supposed to be drinking, one of the managers was like, what do you want me to do? They're 30-year-old men, I'm not gonna babysit them.
Yeah.
And I was like, but like it was within the thing that you guys can't do it. Like it's just like it's also just logic. Like you're working, why you can't drink on the job? Like it was just like
not even bartenders who work with alcohol drink on the job. I mean, I guess if somebody wants a shot with them sometimes, but it's very rare. I've never seen a bartender get fucked up.
That's just embarrassing. You can't control yourself. Like you can't control yourself.
They were literally acting like babies. They had their alcohol. Don't take my bottle. I need to have my alcohol. I need to have my bottle. Where's my bottle?
You know, like I don't know. That's cringe.
And
I want to suck on my bottle.
It was just like crazy too, hearing that they said that they were thirsty, and the first thing that they went for was beer, not water. And I'm like,
I want my milky. I want my milky.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Forget it. You're too good for them, Julie. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't waste
But
your
yeah,
time.
besides that, everything else was fun. It was just crazy seeing everybody be like, "Damn, you're at the World Series
Being
for free."
Yeah.
And I was like, I
Fuck
mean, it's
New
not
York,
like,
fuck New York, fuck New York.
and I mean, for the most part, there was times when I couldn't even watch the game because I was just busy like doing
That's
everything
valid.
else. And
Yeah.
like,
That's valid.
I mean, how I said I missed the Ice Cube performance, which I was kind of.
Could you hear it at least?
I could hear it,
That's
but we were still like all like trying to figure out what to do with them.
There were still these babies.
Yeah.
We're a bottle.
You guys had to watch these kids.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, if everything would have gone smoothly, like after the performance, and I was gonna be like, oh, you guys need to just come back at the end of the game just to perform, I would have dipped, I would have seen the Ice Cube performance, and then I would have gone back to work. And I'm like, and I was like, I didn't even get to do that because I was just busy looking out that they weren't gonna run.
They fumbled. No,
But-
don't worry. They
Yeah,
fumbled.
that's on them.
But yeah,
But-
and then everything else was pretty fun. I mean, we were part of the hype squad. If you guys ever saw us on TV, that day I couldn't be because I was busy running around. But it was fun. It was crazy.
The Ice
It
Cube
was
performance
nerve- it
was
was-
fucking awesome though.
It was very nerve wracking. And what was hilarious, I think, best part was seeing when they would win. I think they did it for game 1, and I don't remember if I stayed for game 2, but I think no, I did for game 1. When I think Freddie did the
Freddie Freeman hit the grand slam.
yeah, bro, beers flying.
I
Like,
saw.
everything. I got like soaked in like beer and all that stuff. It was crazy, like seeing that. Even though I was in the back and like I couldn't actually see it happening, I could just hear the roars. Yeah, it was just crazy. Like I think experiencing that was the craziest part.
Yeah.
Was
I don't
seeing-
even
was,
blame you,
was
bro.
actually like seeing all those moments was actually pretty crazy. And like being with my coworkers was pretty cool too, because we were all just like going wild. And like the fans, I mean, some fans were not that great, but other fans were actually pretty cool.
Aw.
And so
Community.
it was just seeing just everybody just so happy. It was just like funny.
That's
You
cool.
could feed off the energy.
Yeah.
I told Mom about how you guys showered in beer, and she was like, "Mi pobrecita." But going into more of LA versus New York, I'm gonna fire off some debates, and let me see what you guys know. Disclaimer: we are all born and raised in LA, so there will be biased, but we will try to be unbiased. All right, pizzas versus tacos. Which is more iconic, and which is better?
Which is more iconic?
Yeah, New York pizza or LA tacos?
Damn.
I would say probably New York pizza is more iconic. I'd say it's probably more iconic. But I think
That's
tacos
gotta
are
be
better.
racist.
I, you
Yeah.
know what?
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I'm
Never
just
mind.
fucking-
Nah, it's
we
over.
can't have fun. I guess we can't have fun.
All right, continue.
All right, fashion. So this is actually true. Which one do you think has more fashion sense, New York or LA? They say people in New York have kind of like a more like business, like buttoned up, very classy fashion, while in LA we have more leisure, laid back, athletic kind of fashion. Have you guys ever seen these debates?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Who do you think? I will say, New York, they have more pieces that they wear because it's cold.
I think I personally like LA fashion more, but I think you have to admit that a lot of fashion like influence comes from New York.
Yeah.
But I think it's not fair because it's always cold over there, so they get to wear. They literally get to wear more. You know, where here it was just like 100 degrees last week, and now it's like 60.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's quite as fair, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say the same thing because don't they usually have like Fashion Week in New York?
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
So
Every time I think of New York fashion, I just think of like Timothy Chalamet walking like with like the craziest fit on. So I'll give New York that.
wait, talking about Timothy Chalamet, did you guys see the
Oh, yeah, the
the
contest?
lookalike
In New York?
contest?
He showed up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he showed up.
I never saw videos of him actually showing up.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah, they're doing the contest, and then he's wearing like a baseball cap, and then he takes it off, and he's like, "Hey guys," and then they're all like, "Oh my god!" And then they immediately everybody brings out their phones and starts taking it. Did you hear the guy got fined $500
Ooh.
for it? The guy who ran the Timothy Chalamet
Oh,
lookalike
really?
contest.
Why?
Because they said and specifically in the ticket, I read it on Twitter. It said that they had created an unpermitted, unlawful, and dangerous gathering of over. I think they said like over 1,000 people.
Can't do
So
shit
that's
anymore.
a thing that you can actually get from like.
I guess so.
Just
Probably
can't-
it's a New York
Can't
thing.
do shit anymore.
It's because they wanted him to pay a fee.
Probably.
They wanted him to pay a fee to the city to be like, you know how in events you have to pay like for permits and stuff. I think because he was doing it technically for free.
Yeah.
I think they were just
They're
mad.
greedy
They were
ass.
mad that he was kind of getting away with it.
They're mad he made money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, they said New York hot dogs versus In-N-Out. Come on now.
In and out easy.
Oh, celebrities? We have way more. You saw that those games? We had way more A-listers celebrities.
Hollywood's literally here.
Yeah. Come on now. Attitude. New York's upfront, tell it like it is, or LA's chill, go with the flow vibes.
I'd rather go with the flow. Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
I think I have the spirit of a New Yorker, if I'm being honest.
Have you guys seen that street interview of a guy gets interviewed and he's like, oh, who's I think he said like who's hotter, like the girls in New York or in LA. And then the guy was like, "Oh, I think the girls in LA, because the girls in New York are very intimidating. Like,
Oh, I
they're
saw.
very like I don't know what." And then as soon as that happened, a girl confronts him, and he's like, "I heard you were like
Talking shit about
talking
New York
shit."
girls.
Yeah. And then he's like, "No, he actually was like complimenting you guys." And then she was like having like this whole like intimidation like kind of thing.
That's funny.
And then in the comments were like, "Damn, she proved the point real quick."
Last one. Which city has better breakfast? Are you a New Yorker starting your day with a bagel or a bacon egg? You know, at the local, or they said or California smoothie.
Nah, that can't be the last one. I don't think I,
It says street art versus murals. Does NYC have graffiti culture or LA's vibrant murals make the best urban canvas?
Oh, that's tough. I think probably the street art. They probably got us at the street art.
Yeah, I'll say one thing New York does have over LA is their PT, their public transportation.
Yeah.
That shit's elite.
It says sports there.
Yeah, it says Yankees versus Dodgers.
LA
I guess
easy.
we all know.
LA easy. LA easy. Lakers, Dodgers.
Did you guys see that video of people trying to get in the subway though?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like how crowded is that? So
Yeah.
would you prefer that or car traffic?
Probably the subway.
So the subway with a whole bunch of people, like just
I know
stuff?
you hate people.
I do hate people, but fuck, I just hate driving so much.
I saw somebody defend. I know what video you're talking about.
Mhm.
Did you see the quote that was like, "There's like LA's Angelinos are so traumatized. This shit looks bad, but the next train comes in like 5 minutes and it's
Yeah.
only, I think, what was it? It's only like 30 cents or some shit to ride it. And it's probably not true. It's probably not 30 cents. It's like $3 or some shit.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're drunk, for sure, it's
Bro,
probably so elite.
Filling up your tank for like $70 now. The hell? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no,
I
it's
don't know.
probably elite. I mean, I don't mind LA traffic, but it's because I grew up in it, so I'm just used to it. I'll just rock my playlist.
It's because
Go on my phone.
It's because I liked taking the bus and I liked taking the metro when I was younger, and I feel like if their public transportation is so good, I feel like I would thrive. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, I liked when I took public transportation in San Francisco. That was nice because you could sightsee. I could just like watch.
Public
Yeah.
transportation's where it's at.
I would like public transportation the way New York does it, just because specifically for baseball games, because they're so long. I love getting like lit and drunk, like not in a like problematic like let me go fight someone way, just in a like just chilling watching baseball game. Baseball's long, might as well get a little tipsy. And then if I had PT, I'd probably just knock out on the train home.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
Yeah.
then fucking,
I
I wouldn't have
agree.
to worry about getting into a car accident. Because people get drunk at Dodger Stadium. And then that's where you hear, a whole bunch of people just
Yeah.
crashing
You
into
could
each other.
fit 7 Dodger stadiums in the parking lot.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I wish they had, like, when they built Dodger Stadium, two things. I wish they had turned it around, and I also wish they didn't do it on top of Chavez Ravine. But
Yeah.
I honestly don't get why they pointed the like open field to like the Elysian Mountains, because I'm like, what are we seeing? What was there?
have
That
no
I
idea.
don't know.
Maybe was the giant skyline there at the time?
It had to have been. No,
I don't know.
I
The
don't
what?
get. I don't get
The-
why
The giant skyline.
the skyline.
Like, was it there? You
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Was it as impressive at the time?
Oh.
It
know what I
had
mean?
to have been. It had to have been.
I
There's-
know. Was it there?
It had to have been.
No, but I mean, was it like as impressive?
You know what?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Because LA famously had a really, really bad smog problem. That might be what it is. They're like, let's just
Maybe
let's not look at that.
let's look at the sunset.
Let's look at the mountains.
Look at the sunset.
Actually.
The
That's so
sunsets
true.
are nice. I'll give them that.
Yeah, LA sunsets are nice. That was another one that was like, what's better, the weather? Is it snowy Christmases in New York
I don't know.
or nice?
I think with global warming, it's starting. I'm starting to. The heat's getting a little intense.
I mean, it's because like New York kind of has seasons where you can start seeing like the leaves
leaves
fall
and
and
stuff.
like you actually feel the
the
seasons.
snow.
Yeah, I wish we had seasons.
But we
not gonna
don't
lie.
really have them here.
Yeah,
That's the
it-
only one thing
yeah.
that I'm kind of like, man, I wish we could. but,
Honestly, okay. I think maybe I'll get canceled for this, but
Oh, let me see.
I feel like in recent years, you know how everybody says LA weather's the best. For a good minute now, it has not been very good. I don't even mean like this year. I feel like for a few years, the weather has been pretty ridiculous. Like last year, it rained for like 3 months straight. It was like 106 for like a week this year.
yeah.
I don't know that like
That shit was rough.
the weather is so amazing.
We've been
in
fighting
LA.
with the weather.
I don't know. I feel like for the last like 5 years, the weather has fucking sucked.
That's so funny because literally it says, do you prefer changing leaves and snowy winter or LA's endless summer and perfect weather?
It's not. I don't.
It's not perfect?
Am I tripping? Am I tripping?
San Francisco has more perfect weather, in my opinion.
Right? I feel like the weather is not good here anymore.
I think that if you're someone who only grew up like in Minnesota, where it gets cold like Minnesota, and you've only ever seen gray, I think it probably still
Yeah.
awesome that the weather here, even if it's 100.
I feel like I guess for me, what bothers me is I think I don't know. Like when it rains, LA is not built for rain. Like it is notoriously not built
People
for rain.
crash.
So when it rains for 3 months straight, it's fucking terrible. Nobody knows how to drive in the rain, and everything's flooded. And then and then we're supposed to be by the beach, you know. So when it's 106 like for a week straight, it's like god damn. It's also not supposed to be that hot either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I'm not a fan of the giant extremes.
Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna defend climate change. I was gonna be optimistic, but probably
to be devil's advocate.
to be devil's advocate,
Yeah.
actually, since we're in LA and you live so close to the beach, when it's hot, you can just go to the beach.
Yeah.
So
just
check
have to drive 2
check
hours to
your
get there.
privilege
I'm
and
dead.
understand where you live.
Just drive 2 hours to the beach. That's like 7 miles away.
It's not that far.
7 miles is not far.
30 minutes. Santa Monica's like 30 minutes from here, but Santa Monica's dirty.
What, at 2 in the morning when there's no traffic?
No, it's like 30 minutes. How much you want to bet? I'll look this
It's
up
usually
right
an
now.
hour.
It's usually like
Santa Monica? Fuck no. That shit is like 30 minutes away.
It's also always just contaminated, no?
29 minutes exactly.
it's 2 o'clock.
Ooh, I was about to say.
It's 2 o'clock. Try that again at 5
The
when you want
mental
to see,
gymnastics.
when you want to see the sunset.
What's it called? No, it is dirty though. Did you
What's
see
that?
the Santa Monica Sea recently was red? But the scientists said that it's completely natural.
Just don't get in.
that it's just it's,
Just don't go in.
Just don't get in.
Just don't go in.
the scientists said it's completely safe. Just
You know,
don't.
I think during
don't
summer,
bathe in it.
I was gonna go to Dockweiler, and like right as I was about to leave, there was like an alert that said there was a sewage spill there.
Dockwater is like the dirtiest beach you could go to.
But it's beautiful. I think Dockweiler is really pretty.
really.
I think Dockweiler is really pretty. But it's
Really?
dirty. I don't get in, but I think it's pretty.
I'm kind of shocked you'd say that. I think Malibu's
That's
pretty.
where
I
that's
think
what
Ma-
the planes always.
I think
pass by,
Malibu's the
right?
prettiest, but I think Dockweiler is pretty. Like I think the
You know
like,
what?
little,
That's
the little,
beautiful.
I think the little coast is pretty.
Yeah, it is. Even near Manhattan Beach is kind of
Yeah.
nice. But moving on to our last segment, it is Halloween. Even though it's not Halloween for you guys, it is for us. So to get in the festivities.
Wait, we're not gonna talk about the Puerto Rico joke.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. So what do you guys think about this Puerto Rican joke?
So what did he say?
He said that
He's a comedian. He's a roaster. He has a roasting show called Kill Tony. His name's Tony Hinchcliffe, right?
mhm.
I've seen it. He's on Joe Rogan all the
Mhm.
time. He was at a Trump rally and he made a bunch of jokes roasting the people they're trying to like get to vote for him. And the infamous joke he said was, "Oh, something about climate change. There's a floating giant piece of garbage in the middle of the ocean. I think it's called Puerto Rico."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people got offended, and people got really, really offended. I guess it is an interesting topic because there's multi layers to it. Because he came out and he was defended himself, saying like, I'm a comedian, like I make fun of everybody. If you see the full set, I literally don't pull my punches from anybody. But people say that like that would work if you were at a comedy club, but you were at a political rally
Yeah.
where the people don't see it as a joke. They're just like, no, this is true. And also nobody was laughing, which is like kind of just bombing in front of the people you're in front of is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Even Joe Rogan said something about it. Not to keep bringing up Joe Rogan, but
Yeah.
he said that he warned him not to tell that joke.
Yeah.
And have you seen the
Yeah,
clip?
I've seen the clip.
He warned him not to. Yeah, he warned him not to tell that joke. He's like that joke kills in the comedy club, and I've been there and I see that it kills. But I'm telling you, don't say that at the political rally. It's not. He basically said like it's not the crowd, it's not the place, it's not where you should say that joke. And he did, and now look at him. Because even did you hear the Trump administration separated himself from him?
Yeah.
Damn,
They said
really?
that they don't condone like what he said.
Damn.
well, because where was it in Florida, right? Well, the point,
yeah.
wherever that rally
It was in New
was,
York. It was in New
wherever
York.
the rally was, part of the goal was to get that community, the Puerto Rican vote.
It was in New York.
So for him to go up there and then just shit all over Puerto Rico, like I don't even know
That
why
didn't
you
help
would
them.
like why would you even do that?
Well, did you hear the other one where it's like I welcome Latinos in this country with open arms like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've seen him basically just insulting like the Latino community and like Puerto Ricans and stuff.
I guess there's a lot of things that like for me, because like how you said it's layered, is for one, I guess like I hate that there's now this connotation that you can't disagree or have an issue with a certain joke, because then people will be like, oh, well, you just can't take a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true at all. I feel like I don't think because you say something in a joking manner that completely absolves you from people having something to say. And I feel like how you were saying, especially at a political rally, why, if anything, that puts the spotlight on things to be said about you.
I think because like I understand like making a joke of something, but I think making a joke on the cost of like people and kind of insulting them, because like at that point it just seems a little racist, you know. And I think even then, like if you make a racist joke, it's just racist. Like it's not funny to like laugh about a situation that's going on with like a specific group, you know. Like I think there's like, I don't know, I think a good comedian would be able to say like a good joke and like maybe having something in that, but I think specifically saying those names and putting them together is just a whole insult.
I guess also like I'm not Puerto Rican, but I am Latino, right? And I think another thing that bothers me, I guess kind of about that joke, but not specifically about the joke itself, is more like, why are we always being talked about? Like, you get what I mean? Like, why, like stop talking about us. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why is it always like, I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, what, stop. We're not even in the room. Like, you know, why are you constantly like, just it's
taking
always
shots.
It's always just shots. If it's not that they're criminals and rapists, or that they're taking people's jobs, or it's all these things, then it's like, oh, you're also the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think it's perfectly valid for the Puerto Rican community, the backlash for the Puerto Rican community and even the Latino community in general, to be like, bro, like why, like keep our names out of your mouth. Like, why do you keep bringing this up? Like, stop bringing this up, you know?
I agree. You saw Bad Bunny. It caused Bad Bunny to endorse Kamala Harris. And it caused for him to basically talk shit, which is so insane because it did the opposite. Like, he failed on all counts. He did not get the Republicans' support. They separated him from him. He offended the Latino vote. He offended the Democratic Party. And he got an even bigger star to advocate for the party he's against. So he felt like on all counts, like, Jesus Christ, like, what a fucking bomb. And also just touching on what you said, I think that's true. I think as a comedian, you can make jokes about anything. I don't think you should be restricted to not make jokes about something. But I think it's a bitch move to hide behind that and be like, it's just a joke. Like, it's like the same thing as those people are like, it's just a prank, bro. It's like, if you should be aware and be ready for any reaction that you have to a joke. Like, it doesn't, you're free to make a joke, whatever you want, but I hope you know. People are also free not to think it's funny. And for him, he was defending. Was like, "Oh, you guys can't take a joke." I'm like, "No, sir, that's not how it works."
I think what he said was they took it out of context. But I'm like, what's the context? Because it's a straightforward, like, you know,
joke.
like a 1-2 punch. You know, like I don't know. There's just a lot about that whole rally that really was bothering me. Like, also I think Rudy Giuliani, he's been. He's that lawyer. He used to be the mayor of New York, where he said they're teaching Palestinians at the age of 2 to kill
Yeah.
you, you
Yeah.
know? And then I forget who else is up there, but somebody goes, who said that Kamala's the Antichrist? She is the Antichrist, you know? That's so that on its own is wild to say or hear. Like, it's
Yeah.
pretty scary. But then when he's like, oh, it was removed the context, that's the context, you know? Like, you know what I mean? You were there while
Yeah.
This fucking dark side Darth Vader ass
know.
rally was happening.
I'm also oh god.
Now I was gonna be like, is that the same rally where Vinny was?
Who's Vinny?
I don't
From
know.
Jersey
Vinny from
Shore?
Jersey Shore. I
Oh.
think it might have been. It might have been because
I'm
it was. But no, that one was in Florida. No, I think this one was in New York.
I think there was one that was in New York. I've only seen stuff about.
If
the
it's
New
only
York
that one,
one,
then
but,
yeah, probably.
I'm also pretty disappointed. I mean, not that I know he was already like, you know, I'm just pretty disappointed that Joe Rogan actually had Donald Trump on his show.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I'm not saying like I'm disappointed. Like, I was a huge fan and like I knew that I knew he already had controversial opinions.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty saddened that he was given a platform, you know, especially when he on his own, like Joe Rogan on his own accord, said that he doesn't want to help Donald Trump, give him a platform, and he's not interested in having him, you know. And to see like he did get like that platform, I don't know. I find it really disappointing.
I can
I
understand
feel
that.
that.
Yeah, he tried to have Kamala on too, but Kamala said nah.
Yeah.
And then, but people say that the podcast with Trump does more of a disservice to Trump because it makes him seem very like, I guess like paranoid and very like an unreliable narrator. But I'm also like, I think Trump supporters, they're not gonna change their mind regardless.
No, for sure.
They'll just see it as a dub. So I get
Yeah.
why you would be upset because it's like people don't see Trump went on a podcast and bombed and looked insane. They see Trump went on Joe Rogan's podcast because Joe Rogan fucks with Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what people see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's disappointing. Also disappointing Undertaker supports him.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying earlier, like one of the biggest things that Undertaker or Trump brought up was that it was about like trans issues. Like, I don't know, that's just so insane to me. Because I think for a long time, even I guess when I was in high school, I think a lot of people would, specifically his supporters, would be like, that's not like the big chunk of it. Like, that's not the policy. But where to see it, that be like the forefront of like, it's just this demonization or what would you call it? Like witch hunt on like a marginalized community. It's pretty saddening.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad to see so many big figures put their hats on, figuratively and literally, in support of somebody who wants to pretty much cause harm to these marginalized groups.
I don't understand why it's an issue though. Like why they have such a big issue with, you know, like the LGBTQ community.
Well, it's because they've
Like-
demonized them so badly that like they think that all LGBTQ people are basically groomers, harming children, and want to take away the rights of non-LGBTQ members. It's just they did a really good job of shooting propaganda that apparently everybody in the LGBTQ community is this evil person.
I don't think Trump personally has like cares. I don't think he cares about LGBT.
He does not give a fuck.
I don't think he maybe he doesn't like them, but I don't think he actively gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But I think he saw that his voters and fan base do give a fuck. And I think his voters and fan base, which is why they're saying they're anti-Christ and Jesus and all this shit, are highly religious. I mean, and I know I talk about religion a lot, but like you can't avoid it in this topic because when it comes to marriage, the first thing everybody brings up is the sanctity of marriage and a marriage is between a man and a woman. That whole argument, it's not like, I don't know, Albert Einstein or some scientist like Albert A. Marriage, like he designed what marriage looked like. That comes from the Bible. That's a sacrament. Like it's matrimony. It's not like a, you know. So that's why I'm like, it's all like a religious. It's a religious based.
I wouldn't say it's all religion, but it's definitely a part. The only reason I say that is because it's shown statistically that a majority of people nowadays in the United States aren't religious. So I think what they did is that they used the religious like saying dogma of like, oh, inherently LGBTQ is bad. And they extended that to go like, even if you're not religious, they're bad because they're trying to push it in school. They're trying to push it on our kids. So I do think that it has a big portion and foundation in religion, but I wouldn't say that that's all like where it comes from.
But I think, no, I get what you're saying. But I think what I'm trying to say is more like, even if you aren't religion, your idea of why that's wrong is influenced from a religion. Like it comes from the religion.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
that's
even
like
if
the
you're
foundation.
not religious, like that's where it emanated from. You
That's
know?
the roots.
And that's what sucks. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just very like angering, and like it's so hypocritical because they're saying all these things about, you know, a specific community, but they're endorsing Trump, who's a convicted felon and like has done horrible stuff to people, and it's just like I don't know, it's very hypocritical of people and like the people that they're supporting and like trying to put in office, right?
Oh, you see, this is what I mean, and it ties to like earlier in the podcast what you're talking about, is that it's somewhere along the line, specifically in this election, it came about like it stopped being about adding freedoms and started being about we'll take away freedoms, and that's why you should vote for me. That's why I do think Undertaker's a piece of shit. I know it's like coming out of nowhere, but I think he's generally a piece of shit because like how can the main thing that why you're voting for him be to take away the freedoms of certain people? Like that's just such an asshole move, especially because like I guess being a wrestling fan, he's on video has said that he was so hesitant when they took away chair shots. For those of you who don't know what chair shots are, in wrestling, it's when you get hit over the head with a chair shot. I know it sounds ridiculous because it's fake or whatever, but they really did hurt people and give people concussions. And when that first got implemented, Undertaker was one of the advocates who was like, why the fuck are we doing that? Like, that's what makes you a man. That's what wrestling is. It's traditional. And to me, it adds to that fact that he's a Trump supporter. It's like, how can you have the most, the horrendous takes that come from this man make me like, do you see the people who advocate for this guy? Like, they're not ever like good people. Like, I think that should be enough for you to visually know that if, you know, if suddenly fucking Dr. Doom and Ultron and Thanos were like, I endorse Trump, that doesn't give you a clue to like why maybe you shouldn't vote for that guy.
And I think it's sad because it's like Trump also brought up the Olympic boxer. You know that whole scandal where people were like, "Oh my gosh, they're letting men box women and stuff like that," which isn't true.
Yeah,
you know, even if wrestling is predetermined, they have men and women matches. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know, like I'm like, what, that coming from you is a little wild. Like, what are you talking about? Like, didn't you powerbomb Lita through like a chair?
I know, right?
Yes.
Didn't you clothesline like Trish Stratus?
And I think that's also crazy because. I don't know. That just doesn't happen. Like, it's not like, because the way, what did he say? Because Undertaker's daughter is there, which also I think is sad and disturbing in its own way, because he's like indoctrinating her into that stupid mentality. Where he's like, where Trump is like, you don't want to be like, I'm sure you want to grow up to do stuff. Like, you don't want to have to play against a man, right? You know? Damn. That's just so like,
that's weird.
That's so weird because it's so like, I know people are going to be like, well, it's not the same, but it is the same. When like they broke the color barrier in like sports, you know, it has that same tone of like, you don't want to have, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when Jackie Robinson was trying to get, I guess, speaking on the baseball,
you know, like, and like, I think that's so backwards and like scary and disturbing, because I know like in 50 years, like they're gonna look back and be like, oh well, like at the time that was like, people didn't know that was like, you know, acceptable. No, it wasn't.
We knew.
Like, we knew. People know it's wrong. Like I'm telling you right now, if you're looking in history, people know it's wrong. People think it's disgusting and backwards, and don't listen to when people are like, "Oh, well, at the time, you can't judge people like 50 years ago by the standards of today." You know, like, yeah, bro, sure. Like, sure, people know that shit's wrong. I don't know.
Undertaker took too many chair shots. That's why.
It's true.
He can't think.
He can barely walk right, so it's true.
I don't know, but yeah, I get what you mean though. Yeah. Very disappointing to see some of the people who are like, hell yeah.
It was just crazy. It is crazy to see the people who have been very much endorsing and supporting Trump and manga and stuff like that. Because you see it in sports and you see it in music. I mean, you guys saw the Nicky Jam, who I think is also Puerto Rican, endorse Trump.
Yeah,
and
he took it back.
He took it back though after like I guess the joke or whatever.
I saw,
but that was like still dumb because it was like why even endorse him in the first place?
Yeah,
like,
isn't that like I not what would you even call it? Where it's like people will like endorse Trump, like Nicky Jam. I'm not too familiar with him, but like to be like, nah, Trump is for us, and then at his rally they shit on Puerto Rico. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that insane? Because it's like people were telling you this is like the vibe.
I think that's good, like payback, like as in like
karma almost.
But it's also like, how did you not see? He's been talking about Latinos and insulting them. And what was crazy is I think Nicky Jam came out in a documentary where he speaks on, because I think at the time when Trump was either got elected or was going to get elected, Trump was speaking on immigration and like DACA and taking all that away, right? And so Nicky Jam, I think, came out on a documentary for DACA like recipients to be like, we're defending like immigration rights and DACA. And so that's why it's crazy that he had the whole switch up of like now endorsing Trump after all these years, and him coming out on a whole documentary trying to defend and insulting Trump of like trying to take away, things with immigration. And then to him do this and support him, and then to then again be like, oh no, I don't support this man. Cause like I think he said in the video recently he was saying that
he posted something like yesterday, no?
Yeah, he posted something about, I think he felt like Trump was like for the people and like I want to say for economy or something, to better the economy or something like that.
It's because I know. And I see right through his bullshit,
and
bro.
like he was saying that's what he thought Trump was about. But now that he insulted Puerto Ricans, now he's not for it. But it's just like, bro, it was there the whole time. Yeah. He's been talking.
I don't get this whole blindsided thing.
Well, I saw his video that he posted on Instagram. I think he posted it yesterday, but his basically unendorsement of Trump. And I liked one of the top comments. I'm surprised he kept comments on, and I'm surprised he didn't delete this comment. But the top comment said, "Is like, oh, like the Puerto Ricans drew the line, but not the racism, sexism, transphobia, and like all these other isms. Like that's where you were like, no, that's okay. Yeah, that was okay. But when he insulted Puerto Rico, that's when you, oh my God, he clutched his pearls and was afraid.
I guess it's more because it's like." There's this active denial of he's not against us, like like you that's just the mass media. But then it's like right there, it's like but I was thinking like the money just can't be worth it like that, really. Like, is the money really?
That's what I was gonna say, but like I see right through his bullshit, all that shit about how he's for the people and the economy. The only reason why he even probably endorses Trump is because Trump has said that he's not gonna tax people who are rich, and Kamala has said that she will tax people extra if they're rich. And so Nicky Jam is 100% just advocating for Trump because he doesn't want to lose money. He doesn't want to, because if Kamala gets elected 100%, she's going to tax rich people. Yeah. If you make more than $1 million, you're going to have to pay a lot.
And that's not even like, and that what's crazy is that's not even like an opinion thing. That's one thing that's like policy. That's like on paper. Mm-hmm. That's been the Republicans' game plan since the 80s, since Ronald Reagan took over, is trickle down economics, And
it doesn't work, bro.
It's been proven it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
That's why it's everything's in the shitter all the time. But I'm just thinking like the money can't be that worth it. Like, how much do you really need to be like, like that's okay? You know what I mean? Like what changes in you were like,
I guess he was just broke or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably came from being broke. So it's like he doesn't want to lose it.
I get you.
Yeah, also I think he's just broke because nobody listens to him anymore. So like he probably just needed the money. Because I'm like, if you're quote unquote like rich or whatever, why would you need the extra money? Like if you're already getting it somewhere else,
We have 900 million. He's gonna cut me to 700 million.
I don't know, but it's just like, I don't know, crazy times. Yeah, because it's
well, see, dude, happening. This will be not ironic, but
I'm glad though that the Puerto Rican community has come out and has showed their distaste.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they.
Yeah, shout out to the Puerto Ricans, bro. You guys actually came out.
I'm glad there wasn't like any denial. Yeah, you know what I mean.
If only. Yeah. If only my community could be like that.
I saw that. I saw somebody say. I saw somebody say that on TikTok where they were like, "Bro, Puerto Rico got like."
They got shooters.
They got insulted, and then they all kind of came out, and then they're like, "But yet when like," and she specifically said when Mexicans are like getting insulted
for the past like 10 years,
they're over here like not saying shit and like and actually like falling into it and like joining the other side.
Well, yeah, bro. Honestly, if you're a Mexican for Trump, oh my goodness, I don't get you. Like,
stand up, bro.
Embarrassing, bro. You're embarrassing yourself.
Wake up.
Stand up, bro.
You're embarrassing yourself, bro. Yeah. But now is it time for the last segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. No, it was a good convo. Let's see. I'm not gonna show all these. Candy Wars. What's the best Halloween candy? And what's the worst one you always wanted to avoid?
Reese's is the best.
Yes, sir.
Candy corn's the worst.
You're fucking tripping.
You like candy corn?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's
I don't think I've
bomb.
had it.
I don't like candy corn.
Why?
What does
It
it
has
taste
like
like?
a weird taste to me.
Now I gotta show you
What
this
is it?
picture.
What does it taste like?
Oops, not that one. Not that one either.
Candy corn? I don't know. There's nothing.
It's
that,
like no, it's like sweet and like slightly chewy. It tastes kind of like yogurt, like physical yogurt. That's what it tastes like to me.
Okay.
It's a little sweet, but not overly sweet. Where is it? Where is it? I gotta show you
I
this shit,
remember
dude.
when I was younger and I would go trick or treating. I think the best candy that I would get was a Hershey's little bar.
I used to. Well, I like me. Oh,
Yeah, how do you feel?
I don't.
It's this. Hopefully you guys can see it at home.
Damn. What does it say?
It says, "Well, I like me," and it's a candy corn looking at himself in the
Because
mirror.
nobody likes candy corn.
Damn.
except
I
Steve.
can't believe people don't like candy corn. When I was a kid, I remember I always saw Twitches, and there's this scene where they have Cheerios and then yogurt and then candy corn around it, and like a little candle because it's her birthday. And I remember thinking it looked so bomb, but I had never gotten candy corn in my
All right,
life.
which one do you not like then?
Probably Butterfinger. Butterfinger. It's like crunchy and like it's like I'm eating a rock or licorice. Licorice ass. Not even a debate, right?
I think.
Nah, I like licorice.
Do you like what is it? Red Vines or what's the other one?
You probably like
Twizzlers?
Nah.
Twizzlers.
I think I like red vines.
Yeah, you are tripping.
I like Red Vines.
The
better.
candy corn slander needs to stop.
2-1, you lose.
I've never
Your
had
opinion's
it.
Your
I've never-
opinion's
This is what the
invalid.
Yankees feel like, bro. All right, what's the best? What's the best for you? Because we both agreed Reese's.
I said Hershey's,
Yeah,
and
Hershey's
then
pretty good.
the worst one. I'm trying to remember. Because I was gonna say, what is it called?
Describe.
It's like chocolate. It's like
Coconut?
brown and white.
Brown and
It's
white.
like the wrapper is brown and white, and then
Twizzler? I mean,
Snickers?
Twix?
is it Twix? No, not that one.
Snickers? You don't like Snickers?
Twizzlers? No, what is it called?
What is it?
Tooties?
Tooties?
Tooties.
Oh, Tootsie Rolls?
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls, the chocolate ones, right?
Yeah, the
I
like
was
taffy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one, but then I grew up to actually like them, and then I would say maybe either Butterfingers or Twix.
You don't like Twix?
No,
The cookie one?
I don't know why. I just don't like the crunchiness like in them because I think I'm used to like Snickers, and Snickers is very like it
Oh,
has
that's
the
a lot.
peanuts, but it's still
It's
very
thick.
like it's like
Dense.
nice, and then the Twix and the what is it, the butter whatever
Finger?
Butterfinger?
yeah.
Butterfinger. At least I don't have the worst take. That's crazy, Julie. You don't like those?
Which ones?
Mm-mm-mm.
Which one's the Twix?
Everything. Everything you said. I can't believe it.
You saying you like candy corn is pretty wild.
How?
I did not expect that from you.
How? Wait,
It's-
Woody, why?
Bro, that meme proves it's notoriously disliked.
Yeah,
It is.
when I saw that.
Disliked,
I
yeah.
don't. I never got it though. I never got why. Because when I'm telling you, Twitches put me on.
I'll give you that it looks good. Like it's one of those foods that looks good. It
tastes
smells
good, too.
It does not taste good.
I was gonna mention the Twitches scene. That's the only time that I've seen it that it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I've never had it
I
though.
told you.
He's brainwashed.
But it looks pretty good.
Because of that
He
movie.
believes it's good, but it's not.
You
I
guys
bet.
are-
I bet you if I blindfolded you and I fed you candy corn, you'd throw up.
No way. All right. Do you guys have a memorable trick or treating experience?
Yeah, actually, and it's actually positive.
Let me see.
I remember when I was a kid. I don't. Maybe you guys remember it this way, but I remember when I was younger, Halloween was a little bigger. More people trick or treated.
Mm-hmm.
I was really young, pretty shy, and I remember I was always kind of like shy about trick or treating because I didn't like being scared. And I remember we walked by this house that was like this person had turned their house into like a haunted house, like you could walk through.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Oh, like, do you want to go?" And I was really scared, and I was like, "I don't want to. Like, I'm scared." And she was like, "You don't even want to walk up because they had like a tray for candy,
Mhm.
and there's a guy sitting there. He was like, he wasn't like old, but he wasn't young. He was maybe like 19, 20.
Mhm.
He was just like teenager. And I was like, no, I'm too scared. And I was kind of like really shy, and I kind of just wanted to walk away. And then like as I was leaving, the kid like ran out. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it scared you. Here, you can have some candy anyways." And I remember my mom was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I felt really good because the kid was pretty nice.
Aww, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Julie, do you have any?
I think the only thing is just walking around the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's nice.
Always felt nice to
Yeah.
like just walk around and like get candy. I think I don't specifically know what age, but I just know that there's a specific age that I always think about of just like walking around and getting candy and like how it was just really nice to be out.
Yeah, right. Do you remember one year? I don't know if you remember this. We took our Chihuahua Lucky to trick or treat, and he had his hot dog costume on. Everybody kept being like, "Oh my god, it's so perfect." Do you remember that one? No. I have a couple. I have that one because they're all short. The other one was I remember one year I had so much candy that my fucking candy bag ripped and it all fell. And I was like, oh shit. But it was cool because I'm like, damn, I literally have so much. It can't even contain it. So I had to double bag. And luckily I picked it all up. And then my third one is just I remember when I started getting older and I was still going trick or treating. We would always go like as a family, like except for my mom, right? Because she'd stay back to like give candy and make tamales. I remember I was getting older. My sister was getting older. My brother and our dad went and they wore like these scary masks. And I remember we went into a house and we got a candy. And I just remember the person said, wow, you guys are some big kids. And I always remember that because I thought it was so funny because you couldn't see my brother and my dad's face. Like they were it was one of those masks where it's completely covered. But it was just like, damn. Like they were just like, damn. I don't know. It was funny. It was positive thing.
Do you guys think adults should be allowed to just go get candy?
If they get in costume, yeah.
I feel like if you're in costume, it's fair game.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. If you're not in costume, then no.
Yeah.
Come on.
You
like,
just want the free candy?
Yeah, come on.
And it has to be a good costume. I feel like it's always lame when it's like, this is my costume, you know? Or they have a shirt.
I kind of want to fucking, it's tonight. I kind of wanted, I want to trick or treat, but like, I'd probably have to go with my nephew. But I just want the candy. That's all I want. I love candy, dude. I'm a candy fiend. Oh my goodness. I'm tempted. What?
Nothing.
All right, never mind. I guess it's weird. I guess it is weird, Julie. I guess adults can't trick or treat.
How old are you?
You're a big kid. I was like, hey, I could be Shaq, bro. That was actually fucked up. They said that, bro.
Yeah.
I could be insecure about
your size.
Yeah. Cause Shaq was what, like at 8 years old, he was already like 6 feet. No,
I know, right?
Damn.
So imagine when
That's
he was
crazy.
trick or treating, cause he probably was. The adults are like, damn, that's not a
They're
kid.
probably like, nah.
No, not you.
They were giving him the bad candy because they were like,
Yeah.
wow, it's an older guy just trying to pretend he's a kid.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Okay, so tell me which topic you guys like more. Your favorite horror movie or your favorite urban legend around this time about Halloween or anything creepy.
Horror movies, best horror movies. Rosemary's Baby's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's a hard rewatch. Not because it's not good, but I guess it does
It's
the job,
dark.
right? Rosemary's Baby's pretty good. The Shining's pretty good. And The Thing, probably my top 3.
You know, that's fair. But if I had to go Halloween only, Donnie Darko was a good Halloween movie. The original John Carpenter Halloween in 1970 is a good Halloween movie. And then my third, oh man, this is a hard one. I gotta pick just one.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, but it's not Halloween.
Do they say it's not Halloween?
And they say it's like spring or some shit. It's like
and it takes place in like Ohio or something. Right?
yeah, it's like not Halloween at all. But I kind of want to give it. I'll give it a Nightmare on Elm Street just because it's so iconic with the Halloween holiday. What about you, Julie?
So is it Halloween movies or horror movies?
Either or.
Well, I don't like scary movies. So
You're gonna pick all the Disney Channel
Yeah,
ones.
it could be little kid
I'm
ones.
gonna pick
Scary Godmother.
Halloween Town.
Makes
The
sense.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
The last
Honestly, I do like. Well, I guess kind of a scary movie, but it's not that scary. Is Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky's
it
pretty
is.
good.
It is. Do you remember we watched it? It's a
Yeah.
good. It's a nice like.
Pretty good.
It's a nice cheesy dark comedy.
Spider-Man is a little scary.
Spider-Man. You know
Spider-Man is a Halloween movie.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah, there's the parade. Remember when when the pumpkin bombs still work?
There you
Well,
go.
there you
Put a
go.
skeleton.
There you
Well, there you go.
They never do that again in the series. Spider-Man gets hit with it point blank and nothing.
Oh yeah,
happens.
he doesn't disintegrate.
They
or
turn
anything.
into a skeleton.
It was a different time. We didn't know yet.
We didn't know. Oh,
Yeah.
we didn't know.
And that's our show.
Okay.
Before we go, we're going to give a quick shout out to our Patreon. Hey, you guys subscribe to the Patreon because we're actually creating a good community on there. We're
Yeah.
growing. And I appreciate every one of you. I love you.
Shout out to Yoel, Jada Chicano, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tot, Stephen Carvajal, Angel Zamaron, Carla Corazon, El Verduga de Pasadena, and Yesenia G. Your patronage is always appreciated. If anyone ever wants to join the Patreon, our link is always in the description. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. And we'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Bye.